The point here is, I don't think she has the leverage. I don't think you've got the leverage to turn around and say to Dan, no, you can't have this guy that you really like on. Wow, this looks fucking enthralling, doesn't it? I don't even care anymore. I don't care if people call me schizo. I am schizo. I am unhinged. I am mind-reading people. It's actually one of the most unbearable complaints ever. It's concerning. It's concerning, to say the least. Oh, no. Oh, now it's all coming together. Oh, God, the picture's all coming together. I'm calling. I'm publicly calling on a full explanation. So, NotSoErudite has completely spurged out. Spurged out over Chud in the Anything Else chat. The other day, there was a episode of Anything Else, one that got a lot of criticism. I know Destiny's podcasts are always getting criticism. Bridges, obviously, getting criticism for being completely unwatchable and one of the most boring shows ever put together. Started off, obviously, with a terrible set that took 6 months for Erudite to build. But yeah, on the constant fire for being just like absolute boring dog shit slop that nobody in their right mind would ever spend more than 5 minutes watching. And the viewer numbers reflect that. Because Erudite is an uncharismatic, unentertaining person with no chemistry with the main host. And nothing interesting to add. No diverging opinions. Dylan uploaded it. I don't know that he did. I don't know that it's on his channel, is it? No, it's not on his channel. You're capping. You know, then Bridges also takes some... not Bridges. The other one. Anything Else also gets criticized a little bit. And it was getting a lot of criticism this week. See if I can find this thread. I can't see it. But basically, there were Reddit threads and Reddit comments going up on r/Destiny talking about how rude Dan is. How poorly they treat the guests. How poorly Dylan Burns got treated on the episode of Anything Else. He was being disrespected, ripped on. It was all very autistic, to be honest. Because as far as I'm aware, Dylan, Dan, and Destiny have all known each other for like years, right? Like Dan was on some of the Twitch post stuff back in the day, right? I think they've always had like a pretty good rapport. I didn't see a whole lot of the episode, but as far as I've been aware, they've always had like a decent rapport. So I get the vibe. Yeah, I like Dylan either. I think Lego Head's a loser. But I get the vibe. My just inherent reaction to all that is basically that Digiers are turbo and don't recognize that it's just friends around. Maybe Dylan looked a bit upset sometimes. Maybe it went a little bit too far. They might have been getting drunk. But I think on the whole, I doubt it really mattered. But there were a lot of autistic comments. Now, at one point in the episode, very early on in the episode, in fact, Dan explains to Destiny that he's trying to get Trainwrecks on and ChudLogic on. And he says that they can't come on due to visa issues. He doesn't know if they're just giving him the runaround. Now, obviously, people who watch Chud a lot, I don't have the VOD for this either, because I'm an idiot and I couldn't dig for any of this stuff. But Dan has been on Chud's, inviting him to Anything Else several times. Well, I don't know if he's been on several times. He's been in chat saying it, I think, several times. And then he went on once, I think. And Dan was like, Dan has been super pro this. He's been like, oh, Chud, we gotta make this happen. We might even be able to get, you know, a few episodes filmed in one go. Do some IRL stuff. He was like super into it, super enthusiastic. I think Chud and Dan have always, again, had a really good rapport. I don't think they're like super close, but I know that they think highly of each other. But Chud has always said nothing to do with visa issues. It's always been that simply he can't justify paying for, like, you know, a flight to the US and accommodation, all this shit, just to film an episode of Anything Else. He would have to be going to the States for some other reason, for some broader business interest or a holiday, because just one podcast isn't enough to justify the trip, which makes sense. Now, while Dan was saying this, while Dan was explaining that he's desperate to have Chud on, and Destiny didn't voice any problem with it. Destiny sounded fine with it. I think Destiny and Chud smoothed their things over after all the DK drama. Obviously, Chud was on Kick or Keep, so I don't think that... What is going on here? Imager is over capacity. So I don't think there's any, I mean, I've been on Kick or Keep. I don't think Destiny's really... is too bothered about people from this side stuff being on there. What is going on? Why can I not get this up? What is going on? Yeah, so obviously the DK stuff was DK were yeah. It was over some comments made. I don't want to fucking relitigate it right now. Okay. I understand. Look. My biggest problem with Destiny over that whole drama is just he has always said, I would understand why he would be upset over things DK said, but he always has said, oh, if you make stuff public, if you put stuff online, then you've got to accept that anyone's going to talk about it in ways that you can't prevent. And if you're going to benefit from parasocial relationships, then you have to accept the downsides of it. And then when the downside is people theorizing about aspects of a relationship that he has made public and trying to fill in the gaps, all of a sudden it becomes a problem. But whatever. I think that's all in the past for the most part now anyway. It's all in the past for the most part.
Lucas Synthead super chatted $2. NSE career is dwindling. She's lashing out on Chud.
Thank you for $2, Lucas.
The Martialist super chatted $2. Like how you talked about your skinny jeans.
Thank you for $2, the Martialist. I do not wear skinny jeans. Thank you. So while Dan is explaining how much he wants Chud on the podcast, Erudite is in chat. Main account, modded. Very unprofessional. Chud won't ever be welcome. Smile. I don't think you get to say that, Kyla. I don't know that that's your choice, Kyla. I think Dan will probably just tell you to fuck off, to be quite honest. I can't imagine Dan sitting there and being like, oh yeah, Kyla, I'll listen to you. Yeah, Chud's actually a really bad guy. I think she talked about co-owning the studio, so she spikes up out there. Yeah, I think that only extends so far. Ultimately, Kyla has no leverage.
Nick, too bad for you. Skull, super chatted $2. Boys against and say unite.
Thank you, Nick, too bad for you, for the $2. Okay, thank you. So, Chud won't ever be welcome. That's the first message. So this is because of Spicy. I don't know. We can theorize in a moment. Because I will block it as hard as I can. Smile. Probably not gaming. I will block it as hard as I can. Smile. That's not very hard then. I just feel like she's drastically overestimating her pool here. I don't know what leverage she has. She's made herself entirely dependent on and subservient to Destiny and Dan. Like, your podcast is an abject failure. I don't like that. Then it's followed up with another. Fuck that guy. Smile. Big Karen energy. Very true. Very true. I would love to hear her address this stuff, by the way. I would love to hear an explanation from her. Why does Erudite hate Chud? Asks Ali Baba here. I feel like I've seen this chatter around. I feel like I've seen this individual. Any chance for Dan calling? I pray for a Dan calling. I wouldn't call the podcast a failure, but she drags it down. Okay. You don't want to show that one. In fact, let's just make sure we don't do that again. Axe folder. Something like that. Something like that. Dossier. Axe dossier. So, NotSoErudite replies, morals. Okay. Morals on what? Morals on what exactly? Yo, thank you for the 149 rainbow horse thing. Super sticker, Freddie Woods. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, morals on what? Where's the moral? What's the, what are you taking some huge moral stand on? That's what I want to know. What is she taking a stand on? What has Chud done that is against her morals? I get the feeling, okay, and if she does this, she should not be allowed to get away with this wretched snake shit. Yeah, Boots. Okay, I think that's like a 30% chance of being the explanation. But obviously we won't get into that. We can't get into that one. I hope it's that. I hope it's that. Because I am itching for an opportunity to blow that up. Obviously. And always have been. Haven't we all? Haven't we all? Haven't we all? Anyway, I think, though, she shouldn't be allowed to get away with this. If she gets pressed on it publicly, her response will be a lame, pathetic, spineless, loser response, where she says something like, I just think it's really unethical the way he drama farms on people's personal lives. It's going to be some retarded shit like this. Some absolutely pathetic, retarded shit like that. And she shouldn't be allowed to just give an explanation. That's not a good reason to fucking say you're blacklisting someone. And then we've got one behavior here. This better result in a drama stream between you two. Would be great. Would be amazing. Would love that. Nah, I'm good. But surely she'll address this, right? Surely she'll talk about it. Surely she'll say why it is that she has such an issue. What a big fucking problem is. Why she's got a big fucking issue. So someone saying, I wouldn't call the podcast a failure. She definitely drags it down, though. Right, let's investigate this, okay? Let's investigate this. Let's put this to bed, okay? Let's put this to rest.
What happened?
Okay.
Why?
So, all right, let's just look at view counts first. Where's Destiny's Zone? Anything else? Is there an anything else playlist? There must be, right? Oh, yeah, there is here.
I didn't watch.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look here. 9 days ago, 238k.
Homeless.
12 days ago, 227.
He did draw a real
2 weeks ago, 266.
by Dr.
A month ago, 245. A month ago, 604.
Music reviewer, YouTuber.
208.
DMs like this.
275. You get the idea. 53, 55, 30, 128, 50, 100, 63, 16, 175, 42, 53, 89. We're talking about a quarter or less of the success. And this was supposed to be the only project coming out of this studio being rented. They were renting this apartment to make the studio in or whatever. This was meant to be the only project initially. The anything else thing only came in because Dan showed back up and Dan was like, okay, I want to do a podcast too. And basically took over. So it's an abject failure. But we can go further. We can go further. Maybe you're thinking, oh, well, you know, sure, they're not getting amazing views, but maybe they're getting some other benefit from it here. Surely
What happened?
there's something that's making this pull its weight. Where's the Patreon? Here it is. Let's check the Patreons. Get this shit. Oh, get this ugly disabled freak. So here you can see Bridges raking in a whopping £421 a month. Why does anything else stack? How does anything else stack up? Ooh. What's that? 3,460 paid members. With the dollar amount hidden. £4.50 minimum. Sorry, what was the... 3,400. 3,400 times 450. 15,300 minimum. Almost definitely way more. Like, as in, that's the lowest amount. Wait, is nobody else pointing out that anything else is broadcast from Destiny's primary channel and is integrated with flares into his primary chat/Discord? Are you saying none of that was ever accessible to Erudite? That she couldn't have pushed any of that forward? She couldn't have made any of that happen? Obviously not broadcasting it on the main channel, but you're saying she couldn't have pushed the Patreon more, she couldn't have included more benefits, such as integrating flares, doing stuff with his Discord. You say she couldn't have pushed any of that forward with Destiny's other stuff. I get the impression she didn't want to. I think she wanted to spin it off into her own little kingdom. I would possibly agree. I think something like that would make sense, but it's not the best way to make money out of it. So my point here isn't just to dance on Erudite's grave, though I am happy to do so, okay? The point here is, I don't think she has the leverage. I don't think you've got the leverage to turn around and say to Dan, no, you can't have this guy that you really like on. He's bad because, drama farming. Maloran Southern. Private sex life details. I don't think that's good enough. That is, unless Erudite has a different story that she would like to tell publicly that explains her hatred. Guess it'll be interesting to hear it. Very interested. Should we check out a bit of Bridges? Should we click on one of these episodes? Should we see what they've been like? What do you think? Or should we check Erudite's channel? Yo, thank you, Sliggins, for the 5 gifted. You know, guys, now is actually, as we're approaching an hour into the stream here, well, kind of, the waiting screen. Now is a great time to talk to you about something called the like to viewership ratio. Okay? And now, what's happening, okay, there's a strange phenomena that occurs on YouTube, okay? When you get a high amount of views, such as the huge number of 391 that I'm seeing on my back end right now, there sometimes tends to be a bit of a discrepancy between the amount of people watching and the amount of people that have liked the stream. It means that there's a huge amount of people who are completely freeloading. So guys, if you wouldn't mind just moving your cursor to the thumbs up. If you're on a mobile device, just pressing your finger against the thumbs up button. That would be hugely appreciated, okay? That would be hugely appreciated. Helps boost us in the algorithm. It's totally free, okay? Very, very helpful. Okay, guys. Now, if you want to take your support even further, there are ways to support me financially. Okay? You can donate through the Stream Elements link in the pinned chat message. You can buy a membership or gift a membership. Someone else in the chat. You shouldn't be buffering right now. It's got completely. I've got all green bars, 1 megabit. It's literally fine right now. You guys should not be buffering. It's either YouTube or it's your end. It says, literally, it's got all green bars. Okay. It's all green bars. It's not, it's literally all fine. Thank you for the 5 gifted, Queller. I mean, I'm looking at it. All totally fine. That lying stream is fine. That's what I thought. I'm tempted to start banning people, to be honest. Check out the fucking Ayla episode. I have checked out the Ayla episode. We covered that. Anyway, where was I? Sorry. Guys, if you want to go further, you can buy a membership, gift a membership, buy a super chat, which will highlight your message and have it read out on the TTS. Or you can buy a super sticker, which will send a YouTube image or GIF in a highlighted message. Thank you. Go to reddit.com/r/Kuihman, discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman. You cut for a couple of seconds twice. Okay, it's just people spurging out over minor interruptions. Awesome. Thank you for the 1 gifted, John Sanchez. Thank you. We watched the Ayla episode, so we won't look at that one. I don't know if any of this is any good.
what happened and why did the Russians fail.
Okay,
And there
no
were
one cares about Russia-Ukraine anymore. Literally no one cares.
The economy is such a personal experience. Like, all of us have a personal inflation rate. All of us have a personal experience with the labor market. And then whenever you talk about the economy, you're talking in terms of averages and medians. And people are like, that's not my story. Like, that doesn't resonate with me at all. And so it's extremely hard to...
Wow, this looks fucking enthralling, doesn't it?
To discuss that.
Yeah, there is no American with 1.9 children.
Why do so many people argue for going back to a gold-backed currency? What do you think about crypto then?
The majority of people that back crypto don't back crypto as a currency. They back it as a speculation vehicle. This would be a thing that people wouldn't expect, but if you're really big on crypto being a currency, then Bitcoin doubling should make you really upset.
It should make you mad.
Yeah, you should be upset about that.
I think GameStop was really interesting. AI is going to have to produce way more if they ever want to catch up to the valuations that they have. Like, this is just massively overvalued.
Political question. Who do you think in general has better econ policy that you would agree with from an economic point of view, from like a Democratic Party versus Republican Party? Or what do you think are some of the strengths?
This is the highlight reel, by the way. I listen. This is supposed to be the best moments.
To make you mad.
Yeah, you should be upset about that.
I think
These are the bits
GameStop
that
is
hit.
really
This is
interesting.
the-
AI is going to have to produce way more if they ever want to catch up to the valuations that they have. Like, this is just massively overvalued.
These are the punchiest
Political
clips.
question. Who do you think in general has better econ policy that you would agree with from an economic point of view, from like a Democratic Party versus Republican Party? Or what do you think are some of the strengths and weaknesses of...
Hey, welcome to...
So, I would love to know like what the retention is on that. This is the most boring podcast of all time, I think. I don't know why you would get two hosts that just agree on everything, but one of them's like way less interesting than the other. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The setup makes no sense. There's no vision. There is no vision here. Kyla is blind. Okay, she has no vision.
So anybody
What has this retard been up to? Fuck all. Discovering the value of stories. Oh, brother. Should we do some NSC content? Should we click this? Should we do this? Am I clicking this video? Am I going to regret this? I've got nothing better to do tonight. I've got nothing better to do.
When I was in that space, there was like kind of this human element that was missing from me. I need story back in my life. I need to engage with story. I need to not just be a passive consumer of story, but I think this zeitgeist of success and money making and growth and expansionism comes at the cost of what so many of our old fables are about. So today has been one of those days. Today and yesterday is like one of those days where there's no like major one thing going wrong. It's just every single thing that could possibly go wrong all day, every day is going wrong. Today has been one of those days. Today and yesterday is like one of those days where there's no like major one
Today
thing.
and yesterday is one of those days. That would actually be 2 days, Erudite. Okay, I'm such a picky retard.
Going wrong. It's just every single thing that could possibly go wrong all day, every day is going wrong. I won't get into all the details because again, when you hear about all the like little things going on, they're all like small. It's just like 2 days in a row of Nick being gone, the garage flooding. I took Freya to a dog sitter. She decided to shit in their house and nipped at
Like,
the
what
person.
is the mixing here? Okay, your editor fucking sucks. Holy shit. Her editor sucks. Her editor's dog shit.
I won't get into all the details because again, when you hear about all the like little things going on, they're all like small. It's just like 2 days in a row of Nick being gone, the garage flooding. I took Freya to a dog sitter. She decided to shit in their house and nipped at the person. That was awesome. And I'm like,
What is this?
I'm not sure I'm getting sick.
Am I...
All the while I'm struggling and fighting with the world over.
You know, usually I'd be happy to be completely unable to hear anything Kyla's saying. But I've clicked on one of her videos, so I was kind of here to hear the words that she's speaking. The overbearing music's making it a little bit difficult. Thank you for the 149, Quella, with the little unicorn super sticker.
first world problems. Truly, the most first world problems. I'm listening to this storybook right now. I've been really into something called Lit RPG, which is basically an isekai. So if you don't know what it is, it's like basically somebody wakes up in like a video game or an alternative world that is like a video game or a fantasy world. They're incredibly, I call them action smut. They're very simple plots. Their characters are incredibly 1D typically. They're not very well written, but they're really easy to listen to. It's nice because if you're listening to them, you zone out for like 10 minutes and then you zoom back in. You can kind of like fill in the details. You don't really need to pay that close of attention. So there's something I really enjoy listening to when I'm like really stressed because I can kind of like mentally escape into them, but I can still kind of process in the background. But this latest book that I've been listening to, I was really on the fence if I liked it. I started a new series called The Wandering Inn.
Dude, this is absurd. Not only do you put insanely loud, overbearing music in and mix it like absolute dog shit, but it goes on for at least the first 2 fucking minutes of the video. Dog, intros are like 30 seconds. Why is it still fucking going?
And the first book annoyed me a fair bit, but it really redeemed itself in like the last like 4 chapters. Enough so that I was like, damn, this like has a lot of potential. Like the writer you can see is really grown just through the first book. So I started listening to the second and...
Okay, I guess the video's starting now.
The book starts talking about like the importance of story. And it was really interesting to listen to because I guess...
Oh, I see why the editor had the obnoxiously loud music now. It's because she's got a terrible setup that's probably put together by an invalid that has horrific background noise whenever she's speaking. Awesome.
I really lost the importance of story in college and kind of in my later adolescence. I became very fixated on fact and nonfiction. I basically viewed it as a waste of time if you were reading fiction. So I only ever read research articles, watched documentaries, read like nonfiction, science books or something like that. If I was going to like do like leisure reading, I only listened to podcasts that were informative, science or philosophy, something like that. And in many ways, just to be clear, it really paid off. I learned a lot. And it was also before my brain injury. So I had a much easier time absorbing information just from like hearing it. That is not so much the case for me anymore after the brain injury. But I met Nick, and Nick loves stories. So when I met Nick, he said like the one thing that he's always wanted to do, the only thing that he like really cares about is having kids and taking them on adventures and telling them stories.
Guys, stop.
And Jordan Peterson talks about
stop. Guys, please.
Stories a lot too. And I started thinking about
Freddie Woods super chatted $2. Girl, horse, jockey, injured face.
Thank you for the $2. Guys, chill, okay?
stories and narrative and like why they matter so much. Particularly because I think about all the people that I am like, the type A, businessy, sciencey, very focused, feels guilty if you're not being productive for like 100% of the day. Those are the people that I really, really understand because that's me. That's been my struggle. And it's really interesting because
So you feel guilty if you're not productive 90% of the day. So what were you doing in those 6 months it took you to put some boards up and tape fan art to them and call it a set? What were you doing in those 6 months?
find that when I was in that space, there was like kind of this human element that was missing from me. And I see this as well in different friends that I have. There's friends of mine that are very much more connected to story and life and other friends that are less so. And it's very interesting because when I meet somebody and they're deeply human in like a really rich and meaningful way, they almost always love stories. I remember.
What does she mean? They're deeply human. How do you meet? What is someone that? What type of person? What qualities portray a deep humanity in someone? Does she just mean they're nice to her? Does she mean they're nice to her? Is that what that means? Can we get some theories? I don't know. Okay, Boots, I don't think that's the case. Okay, that's incredibly sexist. Nice and rich. I get the feeling that someone being deeply human, I think all of those people in Erudite's life, all of the deeply human people are going to have two qualities, okay? This is what it's going to be. It's going to be nice to her. Okay, that's the first and obvious one. Someone who placates her, tells her she's doing a good job. And the other quality they're going to need is being in a position of power. Or like some kind of like credentialed person or accomplished, successful. It's going to be those two qualities, I think. Yeah, I know, Jay. So listen, we've seen this many times throughout history. Okay, it's a very potent mixture. All right, I have to use it. It's the only way. It's the only way to fight back against people like this.
Remember, one of my favorite things about Melina, Stephen's ex-wife, is her.
I thought the point of humanizing was to showcase the innate humanity of controversial people. She's implying that some are more human than others. No, see, that's where you get it wrong, Deep. The humanizing show was actually a networking opportunity where Erudite could give people fluff interviews that had no substantive criticism and build connections to them without being criticized for it. God, these were so fucking terrible, weren't they? Oh, brother.
Love of stories. She's able
the exact same as Bridges then. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of find and rip joy out of anything and anywhere.
Wait, Stephen's ex-wife, what?
Somebody and they're deeply human in like a really rich and meaningful way. They almost always love stories. I remember one of my favorite things about Melina, Stephen's ex-wife, is her love of stories. She's able to kind of find and rip joy out of anything and anywhere all at once. And I remember...
Dude, that's the second time she's referenced that in one of her videos too. Oh god, I'm cringing. It's actually so fucked up, man. It's like so weird the way these people just like seriously, it must. Okay, listen, I am mind reading. I don't even care anymore. I don't care if people call me schizo. I am schizo. I am unhinged. I am mind reading people. I 100% think. 100% think. Fuck me. 100% I think. Okay. Fuck's sake. Look, listen. I 100% think Deeparama's getting banned. Deeparama's banned from my chat forever. Okay, Deeparama's permanently banned from my chat. Deeparama's permanently banned from my chat. 100% I think. Okay. No, listen. No, listen. If you guys are gonna be mean, I'm not gonna finish my thought, actually. Actually, I've decided if you guys are gonna mock the way I'm speaking, I'm not gonna even finish my thought. If you're going to mock me slipping up while I'm trying to talk for extended periods, this isn't even really a React segment. I've been riffing this whole time, and you guys are going in on me for one misspeak, okay? Okay, rewind a minute. I am going to be schizo. I am going to mind read. I am an armchair psychologist. And I am looking inside people's heads, okay? I feel like Destiny must feel slightly unnerved or like grossed out a little bit when people around him adopt like everything about him. When they just start taking on all other characteristics. He must, right? No one would be totally comfortable about that. There must be some discomfort there. 100%. Okay, man. Can you guys just shut up, okay? Can you guys just shut up, alright? Wait. What's my friend test clip? It could gratify his god complex. There's obviously going to be... There's probably going to be some aspect of that, maybe. But I just can't imagine you'd want to be around it. Even if that was the case. Because when she's getting on stream every other day, and it's like, I remember the streams. You know, when was it? When did EEAO... EIO, when did that movie come out? I remember the streams where Destiny's getting on there saying how much she cried over that fucking movie. I remember all that shit, okay? This guy going on for fucking days about how great that movie was. And now, constantly, I'm hearing Erudite go, you know, the thing about Everything Everywhere All at Once, you know, the thing about that one Chinese movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, that Destiny really likes, the thing about that movie my employer really likes, it's just bizarre. And it's again and again. It's like there's nothing Kyler left. There is no Kyler. There is no Kyler. There is just a husk. Just a complete husk that has been, like, hollowed out by Destiny's personality, by Destiny's talking points, by non-stop abuse from r/Destiny that has trained her like a dog getting smacked with a newspaper to activate her COON chip, her trash panda chip, and just fucking, you know, drone out. Yeah, I'm still confused about this deeply human thing, you know. Anyway.
I remember like looking at her and thinking all the time about like how she had something that I don't have very well. I don't have this like deeply human connected personality that can just like find joy in everything and is grounded. I don't get like lost in story. But it's really interesting because when I look back at my life, one thing that I lost through college and through my arc of kind of becoming fixated on only fact and information, it was also paired alongside with becoming not a fundamentalist anymore and really questioning my religion. I used to be an avid writer. I wrote all the time. I wrote.
Why are we watching this? Because people hate Erudite. The people don't fuck with Erudite. And I'm a man of the people, okay? Nobody fucks with Erudite, and it needs to be stated again and again.
Poetry all the time. I won poetry contests. I wrote for productions sometimes, like not paid or anything, but I was a really good kind of young writer. And my goal back then was to write a novel. And I don't write at all anymore. It kind of got killed through university, especially. I used to be very creative and kind of abstract in how I wrote. I think on my Patreon, I shared one time a story I wrote when I was like 19. I think I shared the story called Of Birds and Moons. I wrote it in one sitting. If you want to read it, it's on Patreon. You can go. But it's a really beautiful story. It's actually really, really beautiful. And it's kind of written, I really love writing in like that mythology. Birds wrote at all anymore. It kind of got killed through university, especially. I used to be very creative and kind of abstract in how I wrote. I think on my Patreon, I shared one time a story I wrote when I was like 19. I think I shared the story called Of Birds and Moons. I
Guys.
I wrote it in one sitting. If you want to read it, it's on Patreon. You can go. But it's a really beautiful story. It's actually really, really beautiful. And it's kind of written, I really love writing in like that mythological way. Well, I used to. I think a lot about the lack of story.
I feel like I've got to read it. I feel I've got to, right?
And how important they are for meaning making.
Ethan Stapler in chat, all the real creatives are permanently unemployed welfare kings like me. So real. So true, Ethan. Live your truth, man.
What made me think of this is I got to a point in The Wandering Inn where this character's talking to fairies.
Just remember, Ethan, no matter how much the world tries to oppress you, okay, tries to put you down, you're endlessly more human than Erudite, okay? You are far more deeply human than Erudite.
I'm a nerd. And the fairies are very wrapped up in this concept of lore and story. And they've been mean to this character up until this point, until the character starts telling.
She is like Geji. What? Because she can't write for shit? Is that what you mean? Because she can't fucking write? Because the moment the moment you have to try and finish a story or get a story past the midpoint, you completely fumble.
Telling these fairies stories about superheroes, specifically telling them about Superman, which is very funny, right? It's a funny idea for the writer themselves to think, you know what a mythological character would be interested in? Stories about Superman. But I think what I've been missing, and I know that I miss all the time, and I think so many of us in North America specifically miss, maybe Europe too, I'm not sure the culture there as much, but we really miss the importance of meaning making. I think the American business culture specifically,
meaning making,
which unfortunately has kind of spread its little zeitgeist tendrils into academia, into everything, because everything is capitalism. This is a legitimate kind of concern and criticism of the socialist, is capitalism is in everything. It's got its sticky little fingers in everything. And that's true. Capitalism is the fundamental driver of the way that we think.
Okay,
about goal-oriented behavior in North America, which I'm sure is a fascinating study right there. If anyone wants to make a study on behavioral activation and affinity for capitalism, I think that would be actually really interesting. And if you do the study, send me the results. Just to do a little correlation, you know? I'm curious. But I think this zeitgeist of success and money-making and growth and expansion.
God, I seriously, I couldn't tell you what she's trying to say right now. She's just saying, wow, everyone is in the rat race and they're all making money and no one's making creative stuff. Is that it? Is that all we're doing here? Just lamenting the profit motive and its impact on society? Okay.
Expansionism comes at the cost of what so many of our old fables are about, which is, you know, nature and connectedness and magic and striving for things and dreams that are by all means wholly unattainable and striving anyways despite all odds.
Okay. What does she think people like before capitalism? People weren't even thinking, no one was thinking about self-actualization and what pursuit am I going to have in my life. They were thinking, oh fuck, I've got to till this dirt from sunrise till sundown tomorrow, so that I can continue, so that I can feed my family with the come winter. That was the sort of thought process. People were living in filth, subsistence farming. Like there's the idea that. Well, I just don't buy that. Is there really this significant change? Is there, like, in the past, like 100 years, has there been a significant like loss of meaning? When was there meaning? When was there this meaning? Or is it just some bizarre, ahistorical, nostalgic, rose-tinted look at the idea that, oh, well, you know, back in fucking ancient Greece, fucking Plato really valued knowledge, and Plato was really, you know, he was looking to learn truth and attain a higher level of understanding for its own sake, not realizing that 90% of people in ancient Greece are probably living in like abject poverty and complete retards. I know what she's been watching. What has she been watching? Feel free to pitch in. Tell me where these ideas are coming from.
Nature and connectedness and magic and striving for things and dreams that are by all means wholly unattainable, and striving anyways despite all odds to achieve it. And I think as we age, a lot of that gets like eroded out of us, and for good cause. You know, a lot of people won't make it. That type of thinking is like the sneako thinking. It's literally being like, yeah, not everyone's going to become like a rich crypto bro, but some might, and everyone theoretically could, so I'm going to sell it, right? And I'm not advocating for that. That's like dreams gone wild. But when I try to think about
John Vervaeke's Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. Okay.
What it is that appeals to the populist, that appeals to the MAGA voter, that is appealing to people so much, is that we have like lost narrative. I've been so horrified over the Imam Khalif stuff to see just how people are just like fully willing to, they don't even care what reality is. They explicitly don't care. It's horrifying to see people be like, I don't care if Trump is a dictator. I want him as a dictator. It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? But it speaks to this like crisis of meaning making that I feel like is growing within our culture. And I think stories and religion are the sources of these things. And I mean, it's even interesting. Look at the timing of how decayed our major story makers are. Think about Hollywood. Think about how much they suck. They're never creating new stuff. When they do take incredible stories, they'll take like The Wheel of Time, a classic and a beloved story for a reason, and then they'll just change shit to match their own personal political zeitgeist, because the story matters less than the function. You know, the outcome and the functionality and the productiveness of it matters more than just telling a story. And I feel like my frustration has been growing so much with politics and with kind of just like the world at large. I've just been really...
Sorry, I zoned.
I'm
sorry, I keep zoning.
Over the Imam Khalif stuff, to see just how I've been feeling to the populist, that appeals to the MAGA voter, that is appealing to people so much, is that we have like lost narrative. I've been so horrified over the Imam Khalif stuff to see just how people are just like fully willing to, they don't even care what reality is. They explicitly don't care. It's horrifying to see people be like, I don't care if Trump is a dictator. I want him as a dictator. It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? But it speaks to this like crisis of meaning making that I feel like is growing.
Okay, so this must be referencing that thing Boots said, right? Yeah, I'm not sure why Imam Khalif is the example here. Okay. When Kuihman zones out, does that mean he's smoking? No, it usually means that I've been bored by the content. I've pulled up Twitter on my other monitor. I'm scrolling Twitter. Doom scrolling, and my eyes are glazing over. And before I know it, 5 minutes of the video have passed.
Within our culture. And I think stories and religion are the sources of these things. And I mean, it's even interesting. Look at the timing of how decayed our major story makers are. Think about Hollywood. Think about how much they suck. They're never creating new stuff. When they do...
It's actually one of the most unbearable complaints ever. Oh, look how much Hollywood sucks now. Look at what... Okay, wow. One place that is, you know, that has always produced the slop, you know, the blockbusters, the consumer products of the film industry, is now producing nothing but low-quality remakes and reboots. Okay. You know there's like a whole fucking world of film industries out there, right? You know it's not just fucking Hollywood. You know everything... Was Everything Everywhere All at Once even a Hollywood movie? Yeah, it was A24, right? It's just like... I can't, man. It's just like so because Hollywood is shit now, the profit incentive is corrosive to every aspect of society. Like this is how socialists start spurging out. This is how groypers start believing retarded shit.
Take incredible stories. They'll take like The Wheel of Time, a classic and a beloved story for a reason, and then they'll just change shit to match their own personal political zeitgeist, because the story matters less than the function. You know, the outcome and the functionality and the productiveness of it matters more than just telling a story. And a beloved story for a reason, and then they'll just change shit to match their own personal political zeitgeist because the story matters less than the function. You know, the outcome and the functionality and the productiveness of it matters more than just telling a story. And I feel like my frustration has been growing so much.
Okay, I'm looking at 2024 movie releases, okay? I feel like this is such an outdated talking point. If it was even a good talking point in the first place, that they're changing everything. They're putting the blacks and everything. I'm looking at 2024 movies. There aren't really a lot of remakes or sequels, or like we had Deadpool, I guess, but that didn't. My understanding is no one was complaining about that fucking anything up. It's just slop. The Union, Instigators, Sleeping Dogs, Inside the Mind of a Dog, Monkey Man, Time Addicts, Spaceman, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Devil's Bath, Trigger Warning. That's epic. Arcadian, Boneyard, Stolen, Jackpot, Arthur the King, In Violent Nature, If. Like, there's not... It isn't... Okay. This just doesn't happen at the rate people pretend. The whole... They're inserting their political narrative. The best example of that right now is The Acolyte, right? Because The Acolyte was very clearly... But then the thing is that... Oh, because it's so fucking retarded, man. This is such a retarded topic to untangle because everyone's so stupid about it. Stuff like The Acolyte sucks, right? But The Acolyte doesn't suck because Star Wars, you know, Lucasfilm, whatever, said... You have to make a woman Star Wars about women's and transes and blacks. The Acolyte sucks because Disney have taken sort of like a newer approach in response to declining box office sales, where they're now allowing basically artists and directors to come in and have sort of more of their say to put their spin on existing properties. That seems to be the strategy at the moment because everything was going downhill. So they are actually getting more quote-unquote creativity and more quote-unquote creative freedom, but then they give it to someone retarded who just wants to make their lesbian trans fantasy. It's not really about that. Shit like that isn't really ruined by like some profit incentive or even some like political agenda. It's just like these liberal lefty freaks think this is what makes good art, is when you talk about gay people all the time. Sure, it ends up there because of the profit incentive. I 100% agree with you, Ethan. But it's not as, what I'm trying to say is that it is not a case of saying, oh, there's no reason to tell a good story. We just need to put in the most productive elements here. Because if they wanted to do that, like, there are probably, you know, they could keep everything cohesive, right? It would just be about Darth Vader for the next 20 years. But they give more artistic freedom, creative freedom to try and generate some more of that, some of that spark, a bit more of that energy, right? That will carry the franchise forward so they're not just repeating the same shit to dwindling returns. It's not as simple as just, oh, the robotic nature of the profit incentive means there's no art that gets funded anymore. Nothing creative ever gets funded anymore. It's all just corporate mandated. It's not that simple in any way.
They explicitly don't care. It's horrible. They show people so much is that we have like lost narrative. I've been so horrified over the Imam Khalif stuff to see just how people are just like fully willing to, they don't even care what reality is. They explicitly don't care. It's horrifying to see people be like, I don't care if Trump is a dictator. I want him as a dictator. It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? But it speaks to this like crisis of meaning making that I feel like is growing within our culture. And I think stories and religion are the sources of these things. And I mean, it's even interesting. Look at the timing of how decayed our major story makers are.
Streaming services gave birth within the last 15 years to perhaps the richest period of quality live-action story production in industry history. It gave birth to a lot of slop too, but there is definitely some truth to that, yeah. And fuck it, but movie directors will fucking cope and sneed about how bad the industry is now because Nolan can't get his $50 gajillion dollar budget to make the most pretentious slop you've ever seen.
Think about Hollywood. Think about how much they suck. They're never creating new stuff. When they do take incredible stories, they'll take like The Wheel of Time, a classic and a beloved story for a reason, and then they'll just change shit to match their own personal political zeitgeist because the story matters less than the function. You know, the outcome and the functionality and the productiveness of it matters more than just telling a story. And I feel like my frustration has been growing so much with politics and with kind of just like the world at large. I've just been really frustrated and agitated, and probably with myself. You know, I feel like whenever we get really mad at the world, the first thing we have to do is like look in and be like, what am I avoiding inside? Which is probably for me is that betrayal of not going back to rescue my younger self who loved to write and would leave the house for hours on end with her dog and sit in nature and write poetry and explore nature and try to find little hidden adventures within the forest.
She's got some problems. She's got problems. Yeah. Like, I don't know what to call it. Is it like therapy talk? It's almost like therapy talk. Whenever someone starts saying something about, like, you know, oh, there's this younger person in me that I didn't save. Like, women do. I feel like I've heard women say this sort of stuff a lot. The inner child stuff. But this is going through it language. This is, Britney Spears shaving her hair off language. This is Lav having a screaming, crying meltdown on a 10,000 viewer stream language. That's the sort of language this is. That's it's concerning. It's concerning to say the least.
Forest and I mean, I was as a kid just enwrapped in this story of nature and adventure. I mean, no wonder isekais appealed to me so much. It's essentially getting thrown into a forest with nothing but what's on your body and finding adventure, which is what I kind of did as a kid. You know, I would crawl through the forest and find adventure. I'd find abandoned buildings and I'd explore them and I'd crawl up high and
go be in Urbex F-Slot then, Ninja. The fuck? You can't go do that gay Urbex shit. You can't go buy a GoPro and make an Urbex YouTube channel? Really? It's that hard?
Attics that I definitely should have been in, and I dodged through feet deep piles of pigeon shit. And then I think about our society and how empty so many people are. And our society is missing meaning making. I feel like when so many people are like, why are you religious? Why do you believe in God? I believe in God for obviously personal.
Okay, is this even like true? I don't feel like this is even true. Are people like especially empty now? Is that really the case? Like what? How would we even back this idea up? I mean, there are studies about it, but I can't. It's the phones. Yeah, I think the problem here is that it just feels like projection. There's probably some truth to it. I would imagine. Here's what I would probably think. There's probably some truth to the idea due to the rapid sort of like stratification of society into tiny little pockets that are controlled by, you know, different perceptions of the world being funneled through, you know, your fucking algorithms, only interacting with people that are exactly like you, and all this shit that everyone goes on about all the time. There's probably been some change in the way people find meaning in life, and a lack of community that means that a larger number of people feel alienated in some way, and like their actions don't have purpose. However, it doesn't seem like Erudite's actually talking about that. It seems like what Erudite's actually saying is, I feel like I've got no meaning. I feel aimless. Everything sucks and I hate my life. That's what seems like is actually going on in this video. So for her to be orienting it as like, oh, this is actually everyone's problem. This is actually everyone's problem. It feels like she's like almost venting through her doing her therapy content, which is just like weird. It's just weird. It's like she's trying to help an audience, but it's actually just like a cope session, an internal cope session. You know what's fucking awesome? I've got to say, you know what's really awesome is the fact that this is an unsigned in browser that resets when I open and close it. And when I click on a NotSoErudite video where she's venting about how meaningless her life is, I'm now getting recommended the Mr. Girl unofficial clips channel. Just totally fresh, which is just freaking awesome. That's awesome. That's epic.
Personal reasons. Like the reality is, I think I said this to Supreme. I keep having experiences that it would be foolish of me not to. But there's also this part of me that's like, maybe no matter what, believing in the story is part of the purpose. Like a story that gives me meaning. And it's like, it doesn't even matter if it's true. I think it is true, essentially. I'm essentially saying, I think magic's real. I just don't really care about the nature of that magic. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I could be fucking wrong, and it doesn't matter me not to. But there's also this part of me that's like, maybe no matter what, believing in the story is part of the purpose. Like a story that gives me meaning. And it's like, it doesn't even matter if it's true. I think it is true, essentially. I'm essentially saying, I think magic's real. I just don't really care about the nature of that magic. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I could be fucking wrong, and it doesn't matter because it gives me joy. And I feel...
Yeah, I can't... I always just feel like this... It just feels like such a weak mindset. It's such a... Deep. Dude. Shut up! Okay. Get that ugly, disabled free. This is always a very weak mindset to me. Shut up! Alright. If we've been over all the stuff already. We've been over it all. Okay. You're on the last bit here. Wind it back. So yeah, I feel like it just portrays like an inability. It's like grasping on it because you don't have any confidence in yourself. You're basically like, or you don't think anything you're doing is like important enough on its own. There has to be like some other force that like makes it all worth it. I don't know. That's always how it comes across to me. And then she's not doing anything to dissuade that view in me at the moment.
I feel like when I get mad at the world, I'm externalizing my own stuff, which is not going back and rescuing my child self who wanted to write stories and got crushed by college, especially because I think it's hard to go back and rescue that part of myself because college was by and large so good for me. It was the first place ever where me as a disagreeable, smart, intellectually curious woman was celebrated. I wasn't just celebrated, I was embraced. It was the first time where every room I went into, people just liked me.
Oh no. Oh, now it's all coming together. Oh god, the picture's all coming together.
Especially because I think it's hard to go back and rescue that part of myself because college was by and large so good for me. It was the first place ever where me as a disagreeable, smart, intellectually curious woman was celebrated. I wasn't just celebrated, I was embraced. It was the first time where every room I went into, people just liked me. And they were okay with it. And they
So this is like, this was like one pure, just external validation seeking. Okay. So her problem right now seems to be basically, it's not like college anymore, because it's not like I'm not getting all the external validation. Second of all, peaked in college. Very unfortunate state to be in. Peaked in college is not a good place to be. And now, the biggest thing here is I feel like if we accept this as a big motivator, a formative thing in Erudite's life, realizing that there are places where you can be a smart, pushy woman, and you can be on top, explains like all of her behavior in DGG and all of her skinwalking. Like, she sees Destiny as that cool professor that she always went and spoke to after class and is trying to emulate. You know, I can see it. It's coming together. The mental image, my mind palace is forming. My mind palace is forming. I'm in my mind palace, and there's a fake door by a cupboard or by a fireplace that I slip into, and inside this secluded room in the mind palace with the fake door, there's a chalkboard on the wall, and it has all these pieces of erudite psychology with pins in them and red string going between the pins, and it's all coming together now. It's all coming together now. It's all making sense.
I thought my edginess was funny. They just thought it was funny when I was edgy, and kind of like push the lines of social taboo a little bit, and would be a lot more blunt and direct. And I feel like the world so often calls that out of us. That story making, because it's seen as silly and childish, but it's not
being constructed.
It's meaning. And when I look at the people who are wrapped around populist ideas, people who don't even care what's true anymore, I see it as like this hollowed out crisis of people saying, I don't give a f what's true. I just need meaning. I just need the world to make sense, and I need a narrative to place the world within. And the problem is that, in my view, obviously, bad actors have taken advantage of that crisis and exploited it. And I'm frustrated because the Democrats just keep acting like these narratives are silly, and the only thing that they're willing to do is also kind of lie. And I think because the problem of shopping is silly and childish, but it's not. It's mean as all the lines of social taboo a little bit, and would be a lot more blunt and direct. And I feel like the world so often calls that out of us.
Okay, I'll go over this one. So Chris is asking in chat. Someone else asked a minute ago. I want to drag this out. People are watching. New people are filtered in. Hey, Truth Wizard, do not post my misspeaks as clips in the Discord. That's disallowed. Do not pull that. You'll embarrass me in this way. Okay, for new people coming in, here is the context. Dan Saltman, one half of the Anything Else podcast, Destiny Bonnell's best friend, said he wanted Trainwrecks and Chud Logic on the podcast. He's been on Chud's stream, and he said to Chud, I want you on the podcast. I want you on for numerous episodes. I want you on now. And Chud said, listen, man, next time I'm in the US, I'll do it, but I can't go specially for that. And then Dan goes on the podcast. He's like, man, I want Chud on so fucking bad. And so Erudite is in chat. And what does she say? She says, Chud won't ever be welcome, smile. Because I will block it as hard as I can, smile. Fuck that guy, smile. Why does Erudite hate Chud? Morals, smile. This better result in a drama stream between you two. Nah, I'm good. So I'm interested to know. I want to know the justification. I'm publicly calling on a full explanation for why she is, because Chud is really, I've got to tell you, I said this at the start. It's got to be reiterated. Chud is deeply, deeply upset by this. Okay, guys, I can't overstate it. Listen, he said he won't even address it publicly because it's upset him so much. He can't bring himself to do it. He can't do it. It's cut him so deep. he doesn't know that he can get on stream and talk about it without choking up. So I'm doing it for him, okay? I'm doing it for him. Listen, I'm just that kind of guy. I like sticking up for people on his behalf. I've been personally ordered to. No, stop. That's a joke. But it's a joke. Chud obviously doesn't care. He's been saying in Discord he doesn't care. I don't want this to be misconstrued as me actually pretending. He just thought it was very weird and funny the way she was reacting. I'm interested to know. I am personally very interested to know. Yeah, everything I say actually directly represents Chud. So let's talk about love. This includes everything said in chat, yeah. No, but I'm personally interested to know. I have to know. My curiosity must be sated. I want to know why Erudite feels so strongly about this. Why, of all people, Chud Logic is the one that she wants to block. Furthermore, I'm calling on Dan Saltman Harkdan of Redact.dev to comment, and Destiny Studios to comment on his golem's unacceptable, unprofessional behavior. I feel like it must be done. It must be done. I need answers now. Let's get Dan on the line. I agree. I tagged him in Spicy Chat earlier. He didn't reply. How can Erudite criticize Chud if Chud doesn't think what he's doing is bad? That's a very good point. That's a very good point. I thought she didn't criticize people's actions if they worked within their own moral system. Interesting. It's got to be his drunk rant on her PV-related stream. Nah, no way it could be that. It won't be that. Very unlikely to be that. Wait, why is Ethan getting moderated? Oh. Okay, guys, don't be too mean to Ethan. Okay? Stop. Don't unfairly time Ethan out. Oh my god. So yeah. Let's finish this video.
That story making, because it's seen as silly and childish, but it's not. It's meaning. And when I look at the people who are wrapped around populist ideas, people who don't even care what's true anymore, I see it as like this hollowed out crisis of people saying, I don't give a fuck what's true. I just need meaning. I just need the world to make sense, and I need a narrative to place the world within. And the problem is that, in my view, obviously, bad actors have taken advantage of that crisis and exploited it. And I'm frustrated because the Democrats just keep acting like these narratives are silly, and the only—
Yeah, Ethan's being a total fed. He's being a total fed. It's like sad to see fed behavior from Ethan.
I just need the world to make sense, and I need a narrative to place the world within. And the problem is that, in my view, obviously, bad actors have taken advantage of that crisis and exploited it. And I'm frustrated because the Democrats just keep acting like these narratives are silly, and the only thing that they're willing to do is also kind of lie. And I don't know how to do it, but we've got to have story.
So I just don't even understand what the complaint is here. Okay, like she's not being specific enough to have any real criticism. Let me see if I can flesh it out in my head. Let me see if I can try and work my way through this. So, okay. So I thought she was talking about a broader, worldwide loss of meaning. But no, she's exclusively talking about America. Okay? She's exclusively talking about the USA. Because she's now framing it as Democrats and Republicans. So let's drop all the rest of the world. Let's forget the fact that there's a whole other world out there. She's moved from America to Canada, from Canada to America. So she's now taken on the American mindset that there is only a single country in the entire world. There's been a loss of meaning in the US, and Republicans have taken advantage of it. Okay. How have Republicans taken advantage of a loss of meaning in the US? So they have constructed a narrative that there is some elite class or some subversive class that are controlling everything and working against the interests of the populace. And the only way to fix that is to essentially gut the state and put a dictator in. That's the populist thesis, right? That's basically the broad strokes of a populist worldview in America. But then how could you say, if you... I accept that. But then the Democrats have got a strong narrative on the other side of that is equivalent to that. You have the fact that you are up against a president, a presidential candidate who was previously president and attempted to commit an insurrection and violently prevent the transfer of power. And you've got, and on the other side, you have the underdog latecomer candidate that is supposed to, you know, fix everything. That is a strong narrative. There is a strong narrative on the Democrat side. So it just feels like she hasn't really thought these things through. It may be true that she's latching on to some truth by identifying there's a lack of meaning. She's so locked into the DGG world and her little Bridges bubble, progressive victory bubble, that the only way she can view things now is through a Democrat versus Republican framework. The observing otaku, that narrative sounds untrue. If you are referring to either narrative you're referring to, it doesn't matter because it's a narrative. It doesn't actually have to be true. If you were saying that about the Democrat one and not the Republican one, though, I would seriously question your mental capacity. Because there is actually not a subversive ruling class that is working, you know, in the shadows against the interests of the working class. And if there is, it's called the Republican Party and Peter Thiel and these types, right? Who have funded think tanks to come up with huge swaths of undemocratic policy and paid candidates out the arse to get in line to support that stuff. Take Bud, feel free to jump on. Cool, you are anyone who says something like that is going to be banned until they join Discord. Discord.gg/Kuihman. You are not intelligent enough to be in my chat. You are a conservative. You are profoundly retarded. You're operating on a mental level that I simply don't want to be around. Yeah, democracy's outlived its usefulness, Peter Thiel. Exactly, right. But the thing is, this isn't some shadowy... You know, Peter Thiel isn't some shadowy billionaire, really. He's pretty well known. People know what Peter Thiel thinks and who Peter Thiel pays. Well, you know, some of it. People know the modus operandi. It's not some fucking secret that has to be exposed. The Project 2025 shit is not some secret that has to be exposed. It's like pretty blatantly there. Yeah, exactly. They're pretty open about it. All people just don't understand what's being said. Yeah. Hill and Musk almost died in a car crash together. Don't say things. Okay. Don't tempt me. I'll say something stupid. So yeah, I feel like she may be mapping something onto some truth with the comments about a lack of meaning in society, but the idea that it's totally framed around Republican, Democrat, just I think it portrays the narrow range of experiences that she has put herself in at the moment. The narrow set of perspectives she's allowed to have.
I need story back in my life. I need to engage with story. I need to not just be a passive consumer of story.
It's all just like everyone she meets is some hyper-political freak, you know.
Story and creation somehow. I don't know how. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I need to do it. A lot of people do it with kids. You know, maybe I just go with a baby in me and I'll be okay. I'm just kidding. There's nothing more awful than to be like, this baby will fix my problems. No pressure, child. But yeah, I feel like we need story and magic back in our world. There's a reason why we love Marvel characters, and there's a reason why we're dulled. Okay, I'm just kidding. There's nothing more awful than to be like, this baby will fix my problems. You know, maybe I just got a baby in me and I'll be okay. I'm just kidding. There's nothing more awful than to be like, this baby will fix my problems. Kidding. I need to do it. A lot of people do it with kids. You know, maybe I just got a baby in me and I'll be okay. I'm just kidding. There's nothing more awful than to be like, this baby will fix my problems. But I need to engage with story. I need to not just be a passive consumer of story.
Why say this?
But I need to engage in story and creation somehow. I don't know how. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I need to do it. A lot of people do it with kids. You know, maybe I just got a baby in me and I'll be okay. I'm just kidding.
I don't want to just sit here and start going on a crazy misogynistic rant. I obviously do want to do that. I just think it's not good optics. I think there's a bit of anxiety. I think time's passing. You know, TikTok. It's getting close. Bit of panicking. Bit like, what the fuck? Where is my life? What am I doing right now? What am I gonna have to show for it? You know, I've spent all this time and I've wasted my youth and all I've got to show for it is this 50k view podcast. I need a fucking kid already. Pull up the Molyneux tweet. Send me the Molyneux tweet and I'll pull it up. Send me the Molyneux tweet. I'll pull it up. I just don't know why you would say this. I don't know why you would have this moment on video. Ethan, why are you such a fed? You're glowing, bro. Are they paying you for this? I hope you're getting like a plea deal or something. Where's the Molyneux tweet? Okay, you've sent it. I can't believe Taylor Swift is about to turn 30. She still looks so young. It's strange to think that 90% of her eggs are already gone. 97% by the time she turns 40. So I hope she thinks about having kids before it's too late. She'd be a fun mom.
There's nothing more awful than to be like, this baby will fix my problems. No pressure, child. But yeah, I feel like we need story and magic back in our world. There's a reason why we love Marvel characters, and there's a reason why we're disgusted when people have the audacity to take our heroes and these fictional creations and bastardize them for their own purpose. There's a just reason and why people hate what Hollywood is doing to Marvel and to Star Wars, even though I don't even like Star Wars, because you're taking stories that gave us magic and you're using it for your own personal gain, and you are not respecting what magic was there beforehand. And it doesn't mean all of it was right, but if you won't respect the magic of the original story, then don't touch it. Don't consecrate this like holy ground, essentially. I don't know what I'm saying. I've been just wrestling with this a lot. My day has been shit, and I feel like I do extremely melodramatic edge posting when I'm having bad days. So you're welcome, or I'm sorry, and hopefully somebody enjoys this. And if you don't, that's okay. It's been a long fucking week, so I need a brain break a little bit.
She just saw Borderlands in theaters. That's why she made this video, dude. So real. I mean, listen, I can understand that. If that's the reason, I can understand why sharing an existential crisis about the loss of story and the profit motive bastardizing every piece of art that's ever been produced. Like, I can understand why you'd be at that point. That would make sense to me, actually. Basically after any Kevin Hart movie, I can imagine feeling that way.
Yeah. If you took the time to listen to any of this, God, every time I go about thanking people, I start crying. Fuck me. If you took the time to listen to any of this, God, every time I go about thanking people, I start.
Abby Blackbird super chatted $1.99. This cow talking about magic but won't have Chud on.
Thank you for the $1.99, Abby Blackbird. Thank you. Guys, that is actually a great time to remind you as we're 2 hours and 20 minutes into the stream here. We've got 456 people here. Erudite content draws the eyes, clearly. A lot of haters out there. A lot of haters. A lot of haters. Not very nice to hate on a woman online, I've got to say, guys. You should probably behave better than that. You should probably behave better than that. However, I am very grateful for you being here. But the problem with having 460 people here right now is that there is a common phenomena on YouTube where the likes have a huge deficit compared to the views. A lot of people will just simply watch the stream completely for free and not even leave a like, not even press the thumbs up button, either using their cursor or their finger on their mobile device. Which is unfortunate because, liking's totally free and it does a lot to help out the stream. It really pushes us, keeps us moving in the algorithm, gets more viewers in here. It's epic. It's epic stuff. So, guys, if you wouldn't mind, just while we're sitting here talking about this, while we're having this discussion, pressing like on the stream, okay, guys? Pressing like on the stream. That would be amazing. However, if you want to take the support even further, okay, you can also donate directly through the Stream Elements link in the pinned chat message. You can buy yourself a membership to the channel. You can gift someone else a membership to the channel. Or you can gift a whole bunch of memberships randomly throughout the chat. You can buy yourself a super chat, which will read out a message on text-to-speech and highlight it, chat. Or you can buy a super sticker, which will highlight a YouTube GIF or image of your choice. You can go to reddit.com/r/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, and discord.gg/Kuihman. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the support. Chill over. Chill done. Thank you.
Crying. Fuck me. But crying's okay. Emotions are fine. I'm so sorry.
She looks like the Radiohead, the Benz guy here. Awesome.
I'm so sorry. It's just been a really bad week. Okay. I am so appreciative if you took any time to watch this. I am not trying to cry to build like parasocial weirdo points. I don't need anything. You are not genuinely. I feel so bad that I am having any level of tears because it feels really manipulative. That's not what I'm doing. So don't feel a need to do anything as a result of me tearing up.
Thank you, Colin Macon.
I just literally, you watching this and you caring enough to listen to my dumb self is
Jesus Christ.
Incredible. And I hope I am intimidated by the honor that is. Truly, God. I am terrified of content creation because I am so.
You do it to yourself, just you.
Awed by the fact that people would ever bother to care about what I have to say, because I'm not I get people watching Mr. Beast. I don't personally watch it, but I get it. It's just flashy and exciting and whoa, things are going on. But that's not the content that I'm offering. And I'm aware of that. I am aware that I'm giving you C-tier content. Just thank you. I really appreciate you.
Okay, we've got. Okay, guys, listen. I see people are here to. People don't like Erudite these days, huh? Once I was called crazy. I was called insane, unhinged, schizo for my feelings about Erudite. I was maligned. Now, this is what everyone wants to see. There is a bit more. Could somebody, if anybody can, please link me the clip or timestamp from one of Destiny's recent streams and the accompanying Reddit post, I'll look for it too, where NotSoErudite was asking for help from DGers. Does anyone have this? Do we have this? Do we have this? Are we on this? Yes, retarded Kuma comments will be banned. Nobody cares what you think. If you think a woman's hot on screen, okay, literally nobody cares. I don't see you gripping it, bro. You don't be a fucking sped. Don't put... No, Gonzo. Dude, you're fucking ill. That is the absolute timeout. That is 5 minutes. Come back, bro. Catch you in a bit. I need the clip. I need the clip that accompanies this Reddit post. Anyone has this. NotSoErudite on r/Destiny says, I need a team of 5 research-savvy people to help me potentially look into some folks for upcoming shows that will be annoyed later. Later. Huh? 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 Am I the retard? Latar is a culture-specific neuropsychiatric syndrome that originates in Malaysia and Indonesia. Is that Hebrew? So she was actually lamenting this, right? What video was this in too? We watched another Erudite video lately where she's like complaining about the fact she's got no shooters. She doesn't have hitters. She doesn't have shooters. Like other people got shooters. You don't got shooters like Destiny got shooters. You don't got shooters like J-Stalk got shooters. That's what she was complaining about. Nobody's out there riding for her. And the theory is that basically she saw, I think it was like Meowdies or something, replying to Rolo saying J-Stalk raped you or something. And she got upset that no one ever says Erudite raped you to anyone. And she was on a video saying, oh, I don't have the diggers. I don't have the army of Discord autists. I don't have my small personal internet mercenary group of autistic individuals who are perfectly happy to spend several hours of their day Googling someone's past usernames to find compromising information about them. Like, dog, just hang out in Discord for a week and you can pull this team together, trust. Just you gotta put some time into it. She's gonna get the worst. I feel like, because, okay, I wish I had this clip. Because, okay, basically, here's what happens when she goes on Destiny's stream. She goes there, and she's like, hey, Steven, I need help with something. I need, like, a team of your best autists to do some digging for me. Do you think you could help, or, like, where can I find these people? And he's like, I don't know, make a Reddit post. It seemed pretty clear to me when I watched it. Obviously, I can't show it to you because I don't have it on to hand right now. But it seemed pretty clear to me when I saw it that what she was trying to ask for, really, was, hey, Steven, can you, like, lend me your team? Can you give me, like, your... Can you give me, like, your autists? Can you give me your team of autists to use for a bit, for bridges? But he didn't recommend anyone. He didn't actually give her anyone. He didn't point her in anyone's direction. Yeah, exactly. Manifesto helpers. That's what she wanted. She wanted him to say, listen, I don't know, who's in the fucking manifesto group chats? Pretty Tony said he was in one of them. She wanted Destiny's top capos, like Pretty Tony, loaned to her to dig into people for bridges. Yeah, she wanted TC Brady to come in and go, all right, Erudite, I'll give you a hand here. I'll give you a hand here then. I'll give you a hand looking into these people, like. Who's this Tectone fellow then? Oh, God. But yeah, he didn't do that for her. And the thing is with doing this, when you go on Reddit and you say, I want a team of autists for this sensitive and important job, you're going to get the worst possible fucking people. It's like asking for moderators. It's like asking people to be Jannies. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, Yummy Prismo. Thank you. Yeah, you are bound to get the worst fucking people apply for this shit every time. So yeah, annoyed later. Latar. Rules. Nothing illegal or unethical. I don't want to dox or anything. I need like old spicy clips and detailed information about dramas. I can only take a few people. DGG, you all are so helpful and wonderful that I will be forced to turn away people who want to help, and I am sorry. 3. No one talks about Fight Club. This was the first rule. Dude, it's... How do you fuck up the reference so bad? You're making don't talk about Fight Club the 3rd rule on your list. How do you fuck up the reference this bad? What? Did you watch the movie? Yeah, how do you do, fellow cinephiles? Enjoying your buckets of crab's legs today, are we? Abiding by the no singles policy? DM me on Discord. I will ping you back with some questions until I get overwhelmed and stop responding. So I don't know what the response to this has been like. It's not like a huge post. Has she actually had to turn away people? And like, I'm sorry, but I fully expect if anything sensitive or incriminating gets said, I'm expecting it to leak fully. We just had this happen. Kelly G, we'll be talking about this soon, I think, because I have to cover it. But the Kelly Jean stuff recently shows that. Just yesterday, just the other day, where she entrusted a document to several close, tight-knit DGGers. And it was obviously leaked. Because why would you trust a bunch of DGGers you've just sort of met in chats with sensitive information? DM me on Discord. I will ping you back with some questions until I get overwhelmed and stop responding. PY Soldiers 07. Annoyed later? Announced later. If you need any facts about Lav, Pearl, Emma Vigeland, or Tim Pool, I can cut through the lies and misinformation. Wow. Heh. Heh. Pushes glasses up. Heh. Pushes glasses up. Readjust glasses on those. Heh. They glare in the sunlight. Heh. Our eyes go invisible past a white sheen on the front of my glasses as I push them up my nose. One finger. Heh. Heh. 2 fingers, sorry. It's usually 2 fingers, isn't it? Good luck. I'd offer to help, but I'm sure you'll have plenty of solid volunteers. I've been offered $1 million for dirt on Hamasabi. What's your... funny. DM sent. Okay. Who are you? This is a digger. This is a volunteer digger. Oh, this is a wiki maintainer, it seems. An individual who manages the DGG wiki. That's unfortunate. That's a sad place to be at. That's unfortunate. I'm sure that'd be a fine digger, though. Fine researcher. Sad place to be, though. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's all we've got there. It's unfortunate I don't have this clip. Very unfortunate. Okay.